So you said the waters might be a bit murky here because if Jameis continues to ball out, Jameis very well might earn himself a starting job elsewhere.
Yeah,
Right?
and if he plays as well as he played last Sunday, he might be in a position where he's earned the right to say, like, I want to go to a spot where I'm unequivocally the starter. Maybe a team does give him a little bit more backup slash bridge quarterback money. I don't think the Browns are going to be in a position to be in a bidding war for Jameis Winston, at the end of the season when the offseason comes. So yeah, it's a little complicated. I don't think it's just as easy as we're going to re-sign Jameis and draft a quarterback whenever and kind of do this bridge situation. Like I don't think it's necessarily that simple.
So there is a foreseeable future that Deshaun Watson is still a part of the plans for the Cleveland Browns in 2025. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think he's definitely going to be on the team one way or another because regardless of what they do, whether it's cut, trade, whatever it may be, the Browns are still going to owe him $46 million. Now, in what role he's going to get that $46 million remains to be seen. He's underwent his Achilles surgery last Friday. The kind of rough timeline that the Achilles recovery is would put him on track to be ready for the start of the season or the early part of the season. So it seems like he's going to be on the roster one way or another. Now, whether he's unequivocally the starter, whether he has competition, I'm not sure about that. I think that we still have so many more games and so many more months, so we get a little more clarity on that. But there's nothing that the Browns aren't in a position to cut ties with Deshaun at the end of this season because
Right.
the financial implications would make roster building prohibitive in 2025. So it seems more than likely than not he's going to be on the roster in some type of way, but his role, I can't say for sure that, he's definitely going to be the starter because the Browns haven't even committed to that right now.
Yeah, you look at that situation. Like I mean, because the ramifications on the cap is somewhere like 74.5
$172 million to
over 2 years, right?
correct.
Yeah, that's a crazy amount of money. I mean, to the point to where if you don't foresee him being a part of your on the field plans, then I can see a situation to where they just pay the man to stay at home. Like, and I know that might be not ideal to what he wants, unless another team is going to trade for him, which I highly doubt. So,
but it might be best for both parties. I mean, that's in my mind, that's what seems like the most, I don't want to say likely outcome, but the most sensible outcome. If they're kind of in a position, if the Browns are in a position where they're ready to move on, and I mean, I don't know what Deshaun's kind of mindset is. Like Deshaun very well could say like, no, like I want to compete, I want to go out there and I want to prove that I can still be the starting quarterback, and he's well within his right to because he's under contract and they're paying him and he's on the team. So like I said, it is a tough kind of murky situation that doesn't have like a ton of clarity, for 2025.
yeah, because like the other part of what you just said, I told somebody that there's another side of this coin to where we're not inside Deshaun Watson's head, and who's to say that based on how he was received when he got hurt, that he even wants to come back and play in the city of Cleveland again, right? Because there's the Brown side of things and there's those financial ramifications if you make that decision to move on from Deshaun Watson, which they're not going to do because you cannot put yourself in salary cap hell like that. And so it's like, I don't really see him being a competitor because, like, Daniel, I'm gonna keep it real. If he was the type of dude that wanted to compete and really wasn't worried about that, then I think Joe Flacco would have been re-signed at the end of last year, right? And so to me, just hearing the tidbits in the locker room, David Njoku sounded really excited, more excited than I heard him at any point during this year after the win. You talked to Wyatt Teller, and he talked about just Jameis and how the offensive line played well, but they can even be better to make him better. It just seemed like in 1 week, the entire energy around the team changed. Am I picking up on that correctly?
I mean, there's no doubt about that. Like there was a life, especially to the offense that we haven't seen. And again, it's a very long season. But I think that it's a tough pill to swallow for I think all involved, whether it's Deshaun, whether it's the organization that for the second straight time. And again, we'll see what happens over the course of the next, I guess 9 games or so. But it is a tough pill to swallow that so far it seems like all the evidence is shown that whenever a quarterback not named Deshaun Watson has been put in the lineup over the past, year plus, outside of maybe Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who had his struggles as a rookie. It seems, that we've had a lot of evidence that this offense runs better. They're more dynamic, they're more explosive, there's more rhythm, flow to it. That's 2 years in a row now that we've seen that. And that's a tough pill to swallow for all involved because of what was invested to get Deshaun Watson and all the resources that they put into trying to get him back to that Houston Texans version of Deshaun Watson. At the end of the day, he has $92 million guaranteed to him over the next 2 years. And the Browns they can't cut him, they can't trade him, and he's not in a position to, force his way out. So, it's almost like they're kind of stuck with each other one way or another. And that's why I keep on saying, like, what his role is going to be remains to be seen. But it seems very obvious that he's going to be on this roster one way or another.